Hi, my friends. I thought it would be really fun to read the book Crazy Hair Day because right now we can't go get our hair cut. And I don't know about you, but my hair is getting really long. And you should see Connor's hair. It's really long too. And you know how short his hair normally is. So let's read Crazy Hair Day together. I love this book. It's by Barney Salzberg. And here we go. Stanley Birdbaum woke up early. Bald Eagle Elementary School was celebrating Crazy Hair Day, and Stanley couldn't wait. They had celebrated Pajama Day, Twin Day, 60s Day, but Stanley's favorite was Twin Day because he and his best friend, Larry Finchfeather, had worn exactly the same thing. Stanley was ready. He had rubber bands, he had styling gel, and to make his hair perfect, Stanley had 2 cans of Halloween spray. Stanley's mother knew just what to do. She wrapped, she dipped, and to make his hair perfect, she sprayed Stanley's hair bright orange and blue. Ta-da, said Stanley. I'm a work of art. You're going to be late if you don't hurry, said his mother. Stanley rolled the rubber bands in his hair. He gently tapped the tops of his spikes. This, he said, is going to be a day I will never forget. I bet Larry Finchfeather and I will have the same craziest hair in the whole school. As he walked toward the classroom, he heard his teacher talking. And remember, Mr. Winger said, Crazy Hair Day is, oh no, next Friday. Everybody stopped. Everybody stared. Stanley felt sick. Larry Finchfeather said, Is that a hairdo or a hair don't? Everybody laughed, and Stanley ran to the bathroom. Poor Stanley. A few minutes later, Stanley heard someone come in. It's me. It's Larry Finchfeather. The Larry Finchfeather who just made fun of me in front of the whole class? Asked Stanley. I was only teasing, said Larry. Some days you tease me too much, said Stanley. Mr. Winger said he wants me to try to be a peacemaker instead of a troublemaker, said Larry. I'm supposed to bring you back to class. Well, I'm not going, said Stanley. I think Stanley has his feelings hurt. Poor Stanley. If you stand here, you'll miss being in the class picture, said Larry. Well, I thought that was next Friday, said Stanley. Crazy Hair Day is next Friday, Larry said. Today is school picture day. Stanley rolled the rubber bands in his hair and he gently tapped the tops of his spikes. This, he said, is going to be a day I will never forget. Larry Finchfeather suggested that Stanley try washing his hair in the sink. It won't help, said Stanley. Halloween hair color lasts for days. Well, it really doesn't matter. It's only your hair. If you don't come out of here by the time math is over, I'm coming to get you. You can't stay here all day. You might feel like staying there all day. It was very quiet after Larry Finchfeather left. Stanley wondered if maybe he could spend all day in the bathroom. He ate his lunch. I don't know if I'd want to eat my lunch in the bathroom. And he drew pictures. I wouldn't want to do that either in the bathroom. He even timed himself to see how fast he could flush all the toilets. 32 and a half seconds, he shouted. A new world record by me, Stanley Birdbaum. Stanley had counted up to 121, 122, 123 drops of water from a leaky faucet when Larry Finchfeather came back. Beep! Time's up. Let's go, Larry announced. It's picture time. If I'm in it, I will look like the class weirdo. Remember 60s Day when Mr. Winger had the flu but came in anyway, said Larry. He said the day wouldn't be the same if it weren't all together. You have to come. I'll give you 5 minutes. Larry Finchfeather left, and Stanley Birdbaum thought about 60s Day when Mr. Winger had taught them all of those great old songs. He remembered how on Pajama Day everyone in his class had worn PJs and slippers, And then Stanley imagined what his class picture would look like without him. I think that would be very sad. He decided to go back to class to keep from being nervous. Stanley made up a song. Crazy hair, how I wish it wasn't there. Stanley felt someone touch his shoulder. I was just coming to get you, said Larry Finchfeather. What if they laugh at me again? Asked Stanley. Everything will be fine, Larry whispered. I promise. I love that Larry's helping him get back to class. Stanley stood in front of the class. Everybody stopped. Everybody stared. Stanley rolled the rubber bands in his hair, and he gently tapped the tops of his spikes. This, he said, is going to be a day I will never forget. Can you see what they did? They put books on their heads. They put a trash can on their head. They put some fake hair. Oh, it looks like an art project. And it looks like they even put a graduation cap. Oh, and somebody put pencils in their hair. I love that they're all trying to help Stanley feel better. And then he went home and went to bed. That is such a good story because it taught us, or reminded us, I should say, that our friends can often help us through the hardest times, especially when we feel embarrassed. And that happens to all of us, even adults. I hope you enjoyed tonight's story, Crazy Hair Day. It was super fun to read to you, and I will see you tomorrow.